Hello there, it's the Archivist from tradingcardarchives.com, and I have something kind of truly archival to show you today. A lot of times we're looking at, well, we're always looking at trading cards, but a lot of times we're looking at trading cards that have, legs in the East and legs in the West. For example, we'll look at things like anime trading cards, One Piece, Dragon Ball, that kind of stuff, right? That all started in Japan, but it's very, very popular here in the West too. Maybe sometimes more popular in the West, right? Everybody knows about that stuff. Marvel, super popular in the West, also very popular in China. Lots of trading cards made in China based on the Marvel franchise. Both countries know about that, no problem. But then sometimes we'll look at something like Kaio's amazing The Three Kingdoms set, and that's based on a mythological and historical, like it's half myth, half history, period in Chinese history, which is called the Three Kingdoms, and it's how China unified into one country, essentially, like in the ancient past, right? And so that's a huge, well-known thing in China. There's many books and stuff written on it. Very popular mythos and very like well-known thing like Dynasty Warriors, Romance of the Three Kings. Like there's tons and tons of stuff based on that. There's another one which in my unboxing video I was calling it the Red House. That was actually really close. For me being an old man with a terrible memory, I was not far off. The actual translation for that book is Dreams of the Red Mansion or Dreams of Red Mansions. Red houses, right? So red mansions. I was so close. But anyway, that's another mythological set of books. The books are real, but they make up a myth, which includes historical figures from China, sort of in this mythological context. So Kaio made a trading card set based on that. I don't have it yet, so I can't show it to you. But that's sort of the second big Chinese mythology that maybe isn't as well known in the West, right? In fact, I'd say like Dreams of Red Mansion is probably the least well known out here in America or any Western country, really. Even in Japan, it's not well known. But in China, everyone will know that. You go ask anyone in China, they're going to know what that book is. Same with Three Kingdoms. You say three, they're all going to know what that is. Everybody there, right? It's like ingrained in the culture. This right here, I was talking about all that for a reason. This is the same thing, but it's a third franchise. It's another sort of franchise that originated in, we'll call it the classical era of China, because it's not ancient. It's from about the 1600s, so we would think of that as late medieval, early Renaissance in Europe or the West. In China, that's kind of the classical period where unification had happened, but we weren't communist yet, right? So we're still pretty far in the past. What's it called? So as you can see, it doesn't have any English on it at all because this particular franchise is very much an Asian franchise. It's probably the most popular media franchise in Asia. I don't know if that's true, but that's probably true. Uh, it's another one where if you mention this to anyone in pretty much any Asian country, including like India, they're gonna know what this is. Okay, and so what is it? It's Western Journey to the West. That's what this is called. If you translate it, this is the title in Chinese right here, these characters. Journey to the West, or the legendary Journey to the West, something like that. You might have also heard of it as Journey of the Monkey King, although Monkey King, even though he's the coolest character in the books, he's not actually the main character in the books. And so I'll explain a little bit about what this property is, and then we'll look at this. We'll look at these trading cards, because this is a set of trading cards based on that media franchise. In the same way that the Three Kingdoms cards that Kaio makes are based on the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and the Red Mansions they make is based on Dreams of Red Mansion. This is not Kaio, this is Card Expert, but they made a set which is based on Journey to the West. Okay, Journey to the West, let me give you a quick overview of what it is. We'll talk about how important it is historically, and then we'll go and look at the cards. And I have to give you this context because, if you're someone who already knows what this is, go ahead and skip all this part because you probably know. But if you're, a typical European Westerner, you probably have never heard of this at all, and need to understand what this is before we start looking at the cards, or the cards are going to make no sense at all. Okay, so Journey to the West is a novel from the 16th century, Ming Dynasty, China. It's one of the greatest classical novels. Has been translated a few times in English. The title in English is usually just Monkey, like just Monkey. But if you ever see a book that's called Monkey, it's this story. And so this story has been retold many, many, many times in many different ways. But this ancient version of it, there's a Buddhist monk who has to travel through China to the western regions of China. So China, right, is the coast of China is on the east, they would say, and the west is inland China on like the side that Russia's on, right? And in the middle, there's a bunch of the like mountain ranges, huge mountain ranges, and all sorts of terrain that is just kind of magical to look at. Like there are areas of Western China that look like the land in Avatar, Pandora, with those floating rocks. It looks like that for real, right? And so that's one area of China. There's all sorts of interesting terrain there. And so the idea is this Buddhist monk back in the 16th century was sent by Gautama Buddha himself. So that's the Buddha, like the original Buddha, sent this monk to the west to rescue some ancient sutras or Buddhist teachings that are sort of held in a temple over there. But there's all these trials the monk has to go through, the trials of crossing the mountain, but also trials against all these mythological demons, Taoist immortals, bodhisattvas, like all these characters from Chinese folklore and religion are in this book. And this monk encounters all of them. And in a lot of ways, this book, even though it's written in the 16th century, is kind of like the Discworld series for China. And that's because it's funny. Like the book has a lot of very funny jokes, very funny parts in it. It also has, the serious idea of rescuing these sutras, of course. But it also has a lot of satire. So there's a lot of times where the monk meets up with a bureaucrat in a town and has to deal with the bureaucracy of the dynastic China, right? And how weird that is for a monk. So it's kind of a funny book in that way. It also has some cool characters. Like the monk, of course, is the main character, but the Monkey King is one of the disciples of Gautama Buddha that is sent along to protect and help this monk accomplish his task of rescuing these sutras, right? So the Monkey King is one of those. There's Zhu and Za are two others. And then there's a dragon prince who is sort of not a person, but like a horse. I don't know. They call it dragon prince, but they're really, he's a horse. Anyway, so they go on this journey, do all this stuff. Now, that's the book, right? And so the book is all about that journey, getting these sutras and then getting back and all the stuff that happens along the way, right? It's a huge book. But let me try now to explain to you sort of how important historically this book is, how like well known it is, even though, again, you probably have never heard of it. Once I start going through this list, you're gonna be like, oh my God, okay. So there's of course the English translated book just called Monkey. There's Sayuki, which is the Japanese translation of these characters. So if you remember, Hanji characters in Japan are called kanji, and they have a different sound, right? So this Journey to the West, and I'm not going to try and pronounce it. I'm sorry, I don't speak Chinese well enough to try to pronounce it. But there's a pronunciation of that in Chinese. In Japanese, the same set of characters is Sayuki, Sayuki. That's how you pronounce that. And it was made into a television show in Japan. So this story, this Chinese classical story, is a television show in Japan. Incredibly popular television show also. And then it was also shown on the BBC in Europe, well, the UK. Okay, it also has a television adaptation in China, which you've never seen. You know I love Doraemon, right? Doraemon is a Japanese animation with a robot. It has nothing to do with Monkey King, but Doraemon has released a bunch of movies, and one of the movies is called The Record of Nobita's Parallel Visit to the West. And it's basically Doraemon and Nobita going on the same journey and having the same challenges. It's like a retelling of this story in the Doraemon universe. Amazing, right? But that's not it. In '97, a jazz composer created a jazz opera called Journey to the East, based on this book. There's been a video game based on this story, which again, they don't really say it's called The Monkey King or anything. They just have the story and they base it. And so in 2009, it was called Enslaved: Odyssey to the West. It was a PS3 game. And if you ever played that game, you played this story without really knowing it. In 2017, Netflix made a production in New Zealand called The New Legends of the Monkey, which is sort of like a new retelling of this, but it's not well regarded because it's all like white people. There's no Chinese people in that show, so it's kind of not well regarded. Anyway, there's a Korean one called The Korean Odyssey, which is a comedy. So they basically took this whole thing and took out all the serious elements, made it just a comedy. And South Korean comedies are very funny, so it's a funny movie. There's another video game called Black Myth Wukong, another game you probably heard of that has nothing, you wouldn't know is immediately related, but it's. There's a whole Lego. Lego has like castle, city, that kind of stuff. There is a theme of Lego called the Monkey Kid, which you can go to like Target or Walmart, anywhere in America, and buy sets of this, which is based on this property, right? Again, that's kind of how big and how popular this is. Now, on top of all of that, there have also been multiple films, and specifically there are two movies that I personally really like, although they can be long and they are long, and they can be a little dry if you're listening to the dubbed versions, just because the dubbing cuts off a lot of stuff. So if you do the subtitles, it's a lot more interesting. But one is called Journey to the West, Conquering the Demons, and that is the half of it. And then the other half is Journey to the West, The Demons Strike Back. And both of these films were made by legendary director Stephen Chow. So, he made Shaolin Soccer, I'm blanking. He made all these funny, The Mermaid, a lot of very funny movies. And so he made two movies based on this franchise. Okay, we're 13 minutes in. We haven't looked at any cards yet, but I hope now you have some idea of how big this particular franchise is in Asia, even though we may not know a lot about it here in the West. I'm going to admit, I knew a little bit. Like, I'd seen those movies, but I didn't know all that, so I had to go read a lot of that. I did a lot of research on Wikipedia and stuff to figure this out. But I did know it was big. I just didn't know. I didn't really know it was that big. So let's take a look at this box. First thing I can tell you is, got a little bit of damage, but honestly, for Anime Card Store, this is pretty good. This is actually really good. It's interesting because there's a printing mistake on my box. I don't know if you can see it, but this is supposed to be cut out right here. I'm going to see if I can fix it. We're going to do it live. Yeah, I got it. A little bit of red out of there. There we go. Perfect. So it gives you an idea also of how this box was printed, right? So you can obviously tell that what happened here is there's the yellow underneath, and then they put this sort of textured sticker over top of it, and then laser cut out these shapes so you can see the yellow below, but that one wasn't fully cut, but now it is. And yeah, the legendary journey. Here's the label in case you want to see it. It's by Card Expert, a company we've seen make many sets. We've looked at a lot of sets of theirs. This one. Okay, so that is Journey to the West. And let's take a look inside. Ooh, that was so pretty. Wow. Yeah, I'm impressed. So we got a hit pack, it looks like. Nice gold hit pack. That's cool. Read it this way. And I think there's going to be like 12 packs otherwise in here. So there's 6. It could be that there's 11, right? Sometimes there's a hit pack. 11. Let's see. No, 12. Okay, cool. So we got 12. Perfect. Now, I don't want to open all these because I kind of want to wait till I get my Dreams of the Red Mansion set, which should come in next week or a couple. I don't know. Things take weird amounts of times to ship. Like I ordered this at the same time as another one. This didn't get here till 2 weeks after the other one. I put them in exactly the same order from the same vendor. It's very strange what happens. But anyway, okay. So once that gets here, we'll open more of this. We'll open some Romance of the Three Kingdoms too, and we'll just have kind of a historical Chinese talk for people who enjoy history. Sorry, if you don't enjoy history, this was probably really boring, and I'm sorry. But we're going to look at some trading cards now, so don't worry. Let's pull that one. Okay, so we'll open 2 packs, and we'll open the hit pack. And so now I've kind of explained what this is, so you will have some concept of what is on the cards when we look at them. Now they're going to be art cards in the same style as the Chow Three Kingdoms cards. So they're going to have that kind of classical Chinese painterly look to them. And you know, that's what we want, so that's great. Let's take a look. I don't know the set at all, so I don't know the backs or anything like that, but I assume this backing is maybe the base. It looks actually has a couple of layers of printing on it. Very curved. Very curved card. And yeah, okay, so this is definitely a painting. This is, okay, so I'll try to explain what's going on here. So this is Gautama Buddha. You can tell it's Gautama because he's in a lotus. So this seat that he's on with these little leaves, that's a lotus leaf. And lotus is kind of like a lily pad flower. So, you know, lily pads on lakes or rivers, those like green things that float, they're plants. And they make a leaf, a flower called a lotus sometimes, if they're pollinated, right? They're very kind. Buddha is always typically depicted as sitting in a lotus. And so that's Gautama Buddha giving the mission to the Tang Dynasty monk. That's this person, the main character. Now, this guy over here with the furry head, that's the Monkey King. So that's the famous Monkey King. And these are the other 2 disciples. And this is very much like an ink on paper type of card. There's no coating on this. So this card needs to be sleeved or it will get damaged, but it looks awesome. Like it looks just like a drawing that might have been in the original book, for example. It might actually be a drawing from the original book. It kind of looks like it to me. I don't have a copy of this book. I should get one. Yeah, I really should have a copy because then I could be like, oh, here's the book. Okay, so now this is a battle, some kind of battle scene, but you can see that it's not entirely like grounded, right? Like this guy's half smoke. These are like demons and things in Chinese lore that challenge the Monkey King and the Buddhist monk and everyone who's on that journey. Great looking cards though. I mean, look at that drawing. That's such a good, that's a very good looking drawing. I'm kind of impressed. Okay, now this one's going to be something else just because it has a different back. It's heavy too. Oh, wow. Okay. So super nice. It's hard for me to tell what rarities these are. That's 11, that's 66. This is 20, card 20. So what we're looking at here is not the same as those. So those are paper with ink. This is, I'm trying to get the surface to show there. See that texture on that surface? That white is all full of refraction work. So there's refraction texture all through this, and then stamped into it is this gold character here. Right? And that refraction is what makes it sort of shimmer in the way that it does. And then it's got this cool silver border too. So I'm gonna sleeve this card, and then I'm gonna go pull up the flyer, which I should have pulled up before I started the video. I always forget to do that. But I'll go pull up the flyer and try to figure out what rarity that is. I'll be right back. And I'm back. So as we expected, these sort of paper ink cards are the base rarity. So they would be the equivalent of like an R in any other set. This is the next level up. And so I'm going to say it's equivalent to like an SR. Although it's weird because there's two types of these. So you can get this card, the same card with the same image with a black background or white background. So this is the white version. There's also a black version of this card. So there's two versions of each of those, but they're kind of at the SR level. And then there's many levels above that. So yeah, we pulled, basically these are base cards is what I'm saying. They're not super rare or anything. Gosh, I didn't say that very well at all. I'm sorry. Okay, put that away. Let's look at one more pack. Nice that we're getting 3 in here. That's super cool. And great looking cards too. Now this set is a little bit expensive, so I won't be buying more of it, and I probably won't have it for a giveaway or anything. Speaking of giveaways, though, no one's listening right now, so it's a bad time to do this advertisement. But we're at 195 subscribers right now, which is insane. If we get to 200, which is probably going to happen this weekend or sometime this week, I'm going to do another giveaway. And I want to do a giveaway with 2 winners this time. I don't know exactly. Maybe I'll do like the top and the last or something like that. So you know, the winner and the loser both get a prize, and there'll be at least 6 things to choose from. But this won't be one of them, just because it's a little bit more expensive. Okay, so let's look here. Oh, so this is the Monkey King's. Obviously, they're his subjects. These are monkeys. The Monkey King is the ruler of the monkeys. The Monkey King is actually a human, not monkeys. That's a very Confucius Taoist way to look at the world. A lot of, I don't even know why I'm bothering to say it. Everyone probably knows this, but like, you ever see the word Tao? Tao is sort of how Tao is Romanized, put in Roman characters. But it's pronounced with a D, Dao, not with a T. T is not really a sound in Chinese. So we say Dao instead of Tao. This card is not very well centered. So I'm just noticing like how badly centered it is. But still cool image. This I think is near the end when they're trying to actually get, this is like where the sutras are in that temple. So I think so. Yeah, 71. Yeah, if these are in order, then that's definitely, because this is like 11. This is just getting started. And then this is sort of a battle near the end, 66. And then this is kind of the last temple where the actual sutras are. Ooh, another white. That is just an epic image again. And this yokai demon is, it'll look like a turtle, but it's just a kind of demon. So we didn't pull any major heat yet, but we still got 10 more packs to go through. But still, I mean, I know a lot of people aren't going to be very impressed by these. They don't have a lot of fancy foil or anything like that. But to me, these are amazing cards. Like these are so unique, such a different thing to have. When I go to a trade night next and I open a binder and I show people these cards, they're going to be like, "What is that?" And I'll be like, "That's the Monkey King." They're like, "What's the Monkey King?" I'll be like, "Oh boy, have I got a story for you." And then they'll walk away in boredom. No, some people are interested. Not most people don't sit and listen to me lecture. That's why I have to make YouTube videos, because otherwise I can't get people to sit and listen to me. That's it. That was a joke. A good joke. That was a joke. Okay, so here's the hit back. Man, today's gonna get weird. I'm gonna drink some Coca-Cola. That'll help. Yeah, today is gonna get weird. So I was just looking at all the videos I'm gonna make yet today, and there's a lot of strange stuff. Nothing quite as weird as that. Nothing quite as weird as the aliens versus waifu one I did. That was super strange. Okay, so here is another Monkey King card. And again, like, Monkey King is sort of the most beloved character in the story just because, look, he's cute. He's a monkey human person. It's so cute, right? He's got a tail and everything, too. Super cute character. So a lot of times media focuses on the Monkey King, but the Monkey King is actually just a disciple of Gautama who is going along with the monk. This is not the main character of the story. Although often, like, this is the one we use to depict just because it's the most well known. Anyway, this is the back of the card. Let me show you the front. So here's the front of the card. Not this. I don't know if that's a draw. If that's a drawing, that's an incredible drawing. And you can see it's framed kind of. I don't want to touch in there, but I assume that's some kind of drawing. How crazy. Gosh. I actually think it is a line drawing. If you look at her cheek, you can see the crosshatch shading here. So it's not like printed. I mean, this probably is printed, but it's not like digitally done, digitally painted. This was painted with some kind of pencil. Drawn with some kind of pencil. Sorry, words are weird. Especially English. English words are strange. What a just uniquely cool thing. How amazing. Like, what? The fact that this exists is awesome. The fact that I have it, amazing. I'm just kind of blown away here at the whole. I mean, you can tell I'm very excited about this franchise. Anyway, okay, we're almost at 30 minutes. I'm going to just pause and try to figure out what that card is, and then I'll be back, and then we'll be done. This video won't be much longer, I promise. I am back. The translation is interesting. So, because this set is so China focused and isn't really intended for sale in the West at all, for someone who doesn't read Chinese to be looking at, it doesn't have traditional rarities, right? There's no like rare, super rare. It's not like that. The rarities have Chinese character. Like right here, I'll show you that right above the 33. That's a rarity level. I don't know what it says, but it's probably like silver framed or something like that. But that's basically a rarity level. This is also at a rarity level. That's what's in that red right there. Actually, that red is the Monkey King. Sorry, that's not it. Where would it be? Maybe it's not on here, but it is on the flyer. But these are listed as hand-drawn sketch cards. Like it says hand-drawn. I don't know if that's true. It's possible that they got, a team of artists to draw maybe 200 of these or something, but I don't think so. I bet it was drawn once and then printed, is my guess, because otherwise I think this would be numbered. It's not serial numbered or anything, so I doubt it. But anyway, they call that a hand-drawn sketch card. I was laughing a little bit, though, because when I first translated it, the last few characters are Hanji characters, Chinese characters like this, they have many possible meanings depending on context and things. And so one way to translate the rarity level of that is vegetarian cat delivery. Not joking. That's obviously not the correct translation, but that is one valid translation of the rarity level there. Okay, I'm done. I am gonna shut this video off now. We're gonna call this vegetarian cat delivery. The video. Never mind. Sorry. I hope you enjoyed it. This is serious stuff. Like this is a serious historical thing. I'm not joking about that. Although there's a lot of comedy in it. This is like a real cultural thing in China. If you go there and you say Monkey King, they're all gonna know what that is, even in English, right? Because it's that popular. So anyway, there you go. If you're ever wondering what the journey to the West was all about, that's what it's all about. Talk to you soon.